My handler calls me Ladybug. She's witty.
Ladybug?
Yeah.
This is very lucky indeed.
No, she's being ironic. Never mind.
I'm going to tell you a story now.
No, I'm good.
It's short.
Really, I'm fine.
No, it's very quick.
No.
It's a good story for you, I think.
I'm cool.
Here we go.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. This is Wait, You Haven't Seen? It's a show where we talk about movies and specifically talk about a movie at least one of us has never seen before. I'm your host, Travis, aka TV's Travis. This is episode number 354, and our movie this week from 2022 is Bullet Train, and here to talk with me about it, because he had not seen it and I was fixing that, from the Nerd Cave Retro, the Open Micers, Jay Funktastic himself, Jason Robbins. How you doing, Jay?
I am good. How is everybody doing out there? And apologize for sounding a little nasally this week. I'm fighting a sinus infection, so that's why I sound a little tooty in my
you're
voice
good.
right
You're
now.
good. So Bullet Train. All right, you had not seen this, but how aware of it were you? What's your story of how you missed it?
Not at all. This movie just went right past me. I had no prior knowledge of this movie. I don't know if it was like a Prime original or a Netflix, because the way when you presented it to me, it seemed like one of those like middle of the road like Netflix action flicks, like what's that one, Red, I think it's called, with The Rock.
Red Notice.
Whatever it was. Yeah, Red Notice, just something like that. Just like you're not quite good enough for sort of a straight to DVD back in the day kind of a movie is what it seemed like. And I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan. Like I think Brad Pitt should have gotten an Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I don't know, he's just great in that. But I love Brad Pitt. And everything about this movie just, I don't know, nothing jumped out at me about it. Like, because, as soon as you said it, you wanted me to watch this, I went and looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, it seems like just an action movie. But as soon as I started watching it, it was about maybe just a couple of minutes into the movie. I was like, there's something different going on here.
Oh, yeah.
By 15, 20 minutes in, I am fully locked into this movie. Like I haven't been in, I could not tell you how long, where I was just totally zoned in on this movie. The jokes were hitting me. The action was hitting me. It was just, I felt like, wow, this was a gift from Travis. Like I cannot believe how much I love this movie.
Yeah, so this did run in theaters, and I actually went and saw it in the theater in 2022. It was one of the first movies I kind of went to back in theaters after COVID and all of that.
Yeah, it took me a while to get back into the theater, so this just didn't even hit my radar.
Well, and that was part of it. This started production in 2021, so it was kind of in the midst of a lot of protocols and things going on, and so this hit at a time when theaters there wasn't a lot going on with theaters, and a lot of people weren't going, and still aren't, but there's way less. Mm-hmm. And it got middling reviews. It was reviewed as just kind of Now, audiences liked it that did go see it, and but I can see where you're coming from with like, yeah, this feels like that direct to DVD like kind of movie, but it's directed by David Leitch, who had done, at this point, Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2, and he had co-directed the first John Wick. So he's got some background. He'd done a few things prior to this. And
see, that was another thing, like watching this movie, doing all the research, like looking at who directed it and all that stuff. I'm like, man, the action has that John Wick kind of feel to it. Like it definitely has that fast pace, like just shock value violence.
Yes.
But weird. Like this one, like in John Wick, the violence is just violence for violence's sake. But here, it's like it's just played for almost like laughs. Like it's weird.
Yeah. So this is based on a book, believe it or not, which I did not know until I was researching it today. And I think they've since in the American, it's a Japanese book, and the American title of it is now Bullet Train. I did look up to see if like the library had it. I might borrow it and read it. But it's based on a book. There's a few changes, but for the most part, the main gist of the story overall is pretty much the same. In that it
feels very Japanesey, like almost like Yakuza kind of thing.
Yes. A couple of the things they did add is like the character of the White Death is added in this. In the book, it is the Japanese crime lord that they mention. He's like the main antagonist at the end, that kind of thing.
Dude, and let's just go ahead and spoil it, dude. Like I'm Michael Shannon. I'm a shameless Michael Shannon stan. Like I love that dude in anything he does. He's in my top 5 favorite actors of all time. I had no clue he was in this. Like I went into this cold when you told me about it. He popped up and I was like, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Like just because he pops up in it.
So I want to talk about this cast, and we're going to save a couple. I want to save a couple of the cameos for a little bit later. But just before we get to the cast, because this cast is nuts top to bottom, they started working on this, and initially it was Antoine Fuqua that was going to work on this.
Really?
Ended up leaving the project, and David Leitch came in, and they took it in a more comedic route at that point. And they added in more of the humor, which works here. And this falls into that category of this feels to me like it belongs on your shelf next to Smokin' Aces and The Long Kiss Goodnight and, Red, not Red Notice, but Red, the comic book one. Those kinds of movies where, and I think John Wick in there too, and you can feel some of that DNA where, so David Leitch and Chad Stahelski started a company together. They both started as stuntmen. Right. Stahelski was famously Keanu Reeves' stunt double. David Leitch was Brad Pitt's stunt double in things like Fight Club and a few other movies. And so they had worked together before. And then Leitch started directing. So he co-directed John Wick, but he wasn't credited for it. And that has to do with Directors Guild, crap.
Yeah.
But he did Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. Those were all his movies prior to this one. And then
I am an unashamed lover of all Fast and Furious movies. I love them.
I have an appreciation for them now after going through and watching all of them.
You know why I love them so much? Because it doesn't matter how many times I watch them, I always forget what happens in each. It's almost like when I watch those movies, as soon as I'm done with them, it's like they do the Men in Black thing and just wipe my memory. So when I go back and watch it again later, it's like watching a whole new movie over again. And I love it just as much the second time.
Oh yeah. So like he had the action background. And him and Stahelski have their 87 North production company, and they do a lot of stunt work. And you can feel that in his movies, and Stahelski's movies too. So he does this, and by the way,
there's so much good fight choreography in this movie.
Oh yeah. But because you're here, I had to get some drive-in totals for us.
Yeah, I was going to do the drive-in totals, but I didn't get a chance to do them because I've been kind of under the weather.
Yeah, so not a problem. I got your back.
I'm so sorry, but thank you. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
A few drive-in totals for Bullet Train 2022. We've got 6 dead characters, main characters, 1 snake, 1 disgruntled train conductor, 1 well-traveled water bottle, and 1 half of a head. We have some gun foo, some knife foo, some needle foo, seatbelt foo, laptop foo, and mamanga foo.
You want to know my favorite fight in the whole movie?
I do. I'm really curious. Which one was your favorite?
It's the quiet fight where they're fighting, but the lady keeps turning around and going, shh. they're like in the middle of a headlock and they're just beating the crap out of one another.
It's one of those things, like, we've seen fights, right? We've seen a lot of fights in movies. So you have to get inventive and figure out how to do something you haven't seen before, or take something that you have seen and give it a new spin. Now, this is very much a movie, park your brain and just sit back and enjoy the ride, because it gets to ridiculous levels at times. The quiet car fight being one of them. It's Brad Pitt and Brian Tyree Henry, and there's no way at all that would happen and nobody would notice it. But I love the fact that nobody in the quiet car, except that one lady, pays attention to anything except when their voices raise. And it's so well done. It's so great.
I mean, it just tickled me to no end. Like, every time they were just, they're fighting with the laptop and they're just bashing each other in the face. And then the lady would turn around and look, and they're just like, shh, they're just like, oh, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. But like you said, like, you don't see, stuff like that. You have to get creative. And I felt like this movie was meant, I feel like it's, I don't know how you feel about it. Would you classify this as a straight comedy? Or this
is an action comedy. So, like I mentioned, Smokin' Aces is one that feels very much in this same realm, where it is high octane action. There's also comedic elements in there, but it is also, like, it's a serious story they're trying to tell at the same time. Like, there's
also a level of gore in this movie that is like, Terrifier levels of gore in this movie.
There's some of that in there. Yeah. You can feel the influence of, Tarantino-like dialogue at times, and Hong Kong action cinema stylings and some of the choreography, and Joe Carnahan sort of action. You've also got, like, I think of other things like Bad Time at the El Royale, or Lucky Number 11, or these, like, kind of crime caper, Snatch. There's bits and pieces of all of those that go into something like this, but then they amp it up. So you're right. There is the extra levels of kind of violence and gore in it that maybe you're not even expecting at times. But it is very funny too. There is so much comedy in there, but it's that dark comedy. That's that Tarantino-ish influence. I wouldn't call this a Tarantino-like, because it's higher action even than something like Kill Bill.
Yeah.
But you can feel the influence there.
But it's almost like the ridiculousness of the crime aspect of the movie is like Tarantino. But when it comes to, like, the humor and just the action, like, it's got John Wick action, but it's got that over the top kind of humor, like, almost like the violence. It is so over the top that you can't help but laugh.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's very Deadpool in that way too. There's a lot of Deadpool influence.
And like, the one part of the movie when Brad Pitt and what was the guy's name? Hold on, let me pull it up here. Not Lemon.
Tangerine. Aaron Taylor
Tangerine.
Johnson.
Yeah, Tangerine. They're fighting in the food, or the kitchen car.
Yeah.
And the lady comes in with the little push cart, and they have to stop.
Yep.
And he's like, "Can I get a water?" And he doesn't have any money, so he asks Tangerine, like, can I borrow a couple bucks or whatever? And he's like, "All right." And he pays for the water, and he throws it and hit him. Like, it's so over the top ridiculous.
It is, and that's why I say it's that park your brain and just enjoy the movie, because something like that, not going to happen, but it will happen in a movie and it works. Or again, the quiet car fight, or Tangerine ending up outside of the train, but somehow able to climb on and break through the glass in the back of the train to get in. Like, that's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. And the end of the movie, the big crash.
Oh yeah. Oh,
when Brad Pitt's flying through and everything's in slow motion and he gets hit with what was it that hit him in the head?
It was like it's just like a tea kettle almost, or something.
Yeah, something. I forgot what, but it's just like, I'm like belly laughing watching this thing. I'm like, I feel like this would have been so awesome to watch in a theater like
Oh, it was.
full of people. If you would have seen this in a theater full of people, it would have been a religious experience.
So my theater definitely was not full of people, but seeing it on the big screen and with that sound was great. But you can I'm with you. I can imagine this in like just a full theater and everybody getting into it and just, the jokes hit and that you feel the laughter move through. But then you'll get that moment where, there's a fight going on and someone goes up through a sunroof type of window and gets hit by a stanchion that goes by and gets cut in half. And just sort of that collective gasp when something like that, because it catches you out of nowhere.
And I think that this movie also has that potential to be a current day cult classic, because this is the type of movie like me and you are very much the same when it comes to like our love of movies and everything. And we know people that love movies, and I know people that love movies that have not seen this movie. And I'm like, I got a movie for you to watch, and they're going to love it. And then they're going to tell people about it. And it's going to kind of, I feel like in a few years, this movie might be a current day cult classic in the way that movies used to be cult classics, word of mouth.
It absolutely has the legs to do that. And a lot of that rests on, with a movie like this, the story and the plot are going to be convoluted, but somehow simple at the same time. Like there's a very simple goal. There's a MacGuffin, but there's a lot of threads to pull at. But this movie hinges on the action and the characters and the cast in this. I mean, we've mentioned Brad Pitt a couple times. Brad Pitt is Ladybug. Is so much fun in here because he's an operator, is what they keep calling them, or operator.
Yeah, but he's almost like Dante from Clerks. So he's just like, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, it's so great because he is very. It's a world that there's like assassins, but he's not an assassin, right? And even at the end of it, he says, "I just do smash and grab jobs. Like I just do." So he's in this world, and I love that he's on this journey of self-discovery, and he's going to therapy, and so he's constantly throwing out these like fortune cookie platitudes throughout the movie that just crack
he's trying
you
to
up.
be all like super zen and just like, home.
And then you couple that with he feels like he has ridiculous bad luck.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because outside of what was the trivia that I found on this was kind of cool. Aside from the henchmen in the movie that show up, the Prince and the White Death. So aside from those characters, anybody that fought with Ladybug and tried to take him out died by their own weapon.
Yeah.
So
I didn't notice that, but now you say that, I'm like, yeah,
his bad
true.
luck worked because and I just loved that. But you got so Brad Pitt, awesome. The Prince is played by Joey King, and she's great. She was a lot of fun. In the book, that character is like a 14-year-old boy, and they altered it for this. They did tip their hand a little bit. Now, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled for anything, go watch the movie and then come back and listen because we're going to spoil things. But they did.
She is kind of a trope, though, where it's kind of
very
like
much.
the innocent person is probably the most dangerous person in this entire operation. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, and this is a movie full of tropes, but the one thing was they did tip their hand a little bit at her relationship to some people in the one scene where she goes to the son and like spits on his face, where you're like, there's some connection there, but they don't mention anything about it at that point.
See, I didn't put that together till later, but yeah, now that you say that, like, yeah, now because I thought that was kind of weird too, because I was like, there's really like, what's the story there,
But her performance is great. The moment with her and Lemon, where Lemon is like, "Man, you are really good. Did you like practice acting or something?" Apparently, that was an ad-libbed line from Brian Tyree Henry, just being impressed by Joey King.
And the thing is, I don't think there's even the most evil people in this movie, there's not a single unlikable character. Like, I liked every character in this movie.
And it's because it does the thing that can work, which is they're on paper they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And their actions are pretty awful. But they're so charismatic and their performances are such that you almost try to root for them. Because like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Prince just wants, like, she wants to be seen by her father.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her motivation behind it. Her methods are questionable, but that's all she's going for. And then you got Tangerine and Lemon, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree
I need a
Henry.
whole movie with just them two.
I
I need a spinoff.
agree. Yes, I would love just the adventures of these two guys because they are like them and Brad Pitt are the backbone of this movie, and they make it
You guys
work.
don't look like twins.
Now, cool thing is, Brian Tyree Henry, by the way, he and Joey
Remind me
King.
to come back to something in a minute.
Brian Tyree Henry and Joey King use the same dialect coach. And I don't know if this is true or not, but there was a trivia bit on IMDb that one of the sound recorders on the movie was Irish and asked Brian Tyree Henry how he felt, being in the States because his accent was so good because he is American.
Really?
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I like the story. But I liked his accent. Him and Joey King both really pulled off their accents well.
Just listening to them talk, I could listen to them read the phone book to one another.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I trust me. We've got some dialogue from them. We're going to hear later. Before we get to your point, I do want to say this about Aaron Taylor Johnson. Love him. Right. I've liked Aaron Taylor Johnson since I think the first thing I saw him in was Kick-Ass. But
yeah.
He was the best thing about Craven, which is not a good movie, but he was very good in it.
I refuse to watch that.
But after seeing this a few years ago, my thought coming out of the movie theater was, you take that mustache off him, tighten up the hair a little bit, you got James Bond. He could play James Bond so well.
At first, when the movie first started, I didn't know that was Aaron Taylor Johnson at first. At first, I thought it was that, what's that new pop star's name? The guy that does all the flips, and he's got the mustache.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
What's his name? Maybe chat room will help us out. But I thought that was him when this movie first started out because he's got like the mustache and everything.
But yeah, he's great. So you had a thought. You had something you wanted to mention.
Oh, I was going to say, like you were talking about, Brad Pitt with the bad luck and everything. Like another of my favorite, I have a lot of favorite scenes in this movie, but the scene where he had to, as the plot of the movie, like they're all after this MacGuffin, this one thing, and Tangerine and Lemon are a team. They're after the same thing that Brad Pitt's after, but then, Tangerine and Lemon get separated. So, and the Yakuza is like really up Tangerine's butt about wanting them to, get off the train and show that he's got what they want, but they've never seen them before. And all they've heard was that they're twins. So they don't know that, Lemon is a black guy. So he makes Brad Pitt pretend to be Lemon. And, they're standing out there with the briefcase or whatever. And because of Brad Pitt's bad luck, the briefcase falls open and like socks and stuff fall out of it. Oh. And of course they get into a huge fight. And then the next scene, he's just looking at him like, really, dude, really?
It's so good. And he's like, I was trying to sell it. Ladybug is always got the best intentions and just nothing ever works out. And you wonder,
like, how has he survived to this point? Because it's almost like his bad luck, like you said, his bad luck doesn't affect him. It affects everyone around him.
Yes, that's how he survived, right? Like, his bad luck puts him in these situations, but then somehow he passes it off to somebody else, and that keeps him surviving.
And the whole movie is just bad luck for him because, like you said, he's not even supposed to. He's filling in for somebody.
Yes.
He's because the other dude, like I don't remember why the other guy like called out or whatever.
He was sick,
but. Yeah, he was sick, and Brad Pitt had to take over for him. It was just supposed to be, get this briefcase and get off at the next stop. But then, of course, this whole thing happens. And it's all because he just has bad luck.
Yep. Oh, it's so great. We mentioned Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon is the White Death. I'm with you. I love Michael
I need
Shannon.
more of him.
Just
I need more.
anything. It doesn't matter what it is. He's great in it. The
He's
other
so
one,
good.
another one in this movie. Like I love Brad Pitt and almost everything he does. I will watch. Same with Aaron Taylor Johnson. I've become a big fan of Brian Tyree Henry. But Hiroyuki Sanada as the Elder, who is in the very opening of the movie, and then we don't see him for about an hour, and then he shows up. But man, when he shows up, he brings it.
I need him as a Jedi in a Star Wars spinoff.
Just in everything. I don't care. Like, put Michael Shannon and Hiroyuki Sanada in just every movie, and I'm happy.
I just want everybody in this movie in another movie like this. I just want another movie like this with everybody in this movie in it.
Andrew Koji is Kimura, and he is the one character with. So I have a couple of nitpicky complaints about the movie. Kimura doesn't get a whole lot in it, and it's kind of a bummer. He also, I don't feel like, deserves what happened to him.
Yeah.
Now, part of that was they took in the book and in the early drafts of the things, he was much more of like a kind of degenerate alcoholic. And they touch on it a little bit with like him not paying attention to his son, and that's what let Prince get to his son and push him off of a roof, which, again, we're talking about like liking Prince because she's charismatic, but she pushed a kid off of a roof.
Yeah.
To make a point in order to get the kid's dad to try and kill her dad. Like, her methods are questionable. But I liked the performance of Kimura. I wish there was more of it. And here's my nitpick. And I want to get your take on this. Two characters that were awesome characters and I think good fun performances were Bad Bunny as Wolf and Zazie Beetz as the Hornet.
Yeah.
I love Zazie Beetz. I loved her in Deadpool 2. I loved her in the first Joker movie.
Yeah.
You know, she's great. This was the first time I'd seen Bad Bunny in a movie. He didn't have to do a lot. It was just a lot of brooding and then a fight.
Yeah, he wasn't really around for very long, and then he was just sort of a dead body for a long while.
And that's my nitpick, is both of those characters are introduced, one about 20 minutes in and one about 45 to 50 minutes in, and we get them introduced, we get a backstory for them, and then immediately kill them, and they're done, and they're no longer in the movie. And that's my nitpick, is like, I connect with Tangerine and Lemon because they're all the way through it. Prince keeps going on through. Kimura and his dad show up, and they have a continuing story, but it felt like Wolf and the Hornet, cool characters, neat on the page, but in a 2-hour movie, we didn't give them enough. And so it happened, and then you almost forget about Wolf after a little bit because it's so quick for him to show up and then get killed off.
Well, it also establishes both of them as, you know, having motivation, and both of them are ultimate badasses. And you know, of course, they die by bad luck, basically.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's only so much you can do in a 2-hour action movie.
It's the type of thing, if I were going to make this movie, I might have trimmed one or both of those characters, or maybe done some combination.
Yeah, I think you probably could have taken maybe even both of them out, and it wouldn't have affected anything.
It really wouldn't have. I mean, there's very little that you would have to update and change to remove those two characters and keep the movie running. And that's my problem. Now, if this were, say, you know, 6-episode kind of mini series,
oh please,
they make more sense, because you can give kind of an episode or two as sort of their quote unquote filler episodes, but they're more of like character development for someone else, and use them as a prop, because they're basically, that's Wolf and the Hornet end up being less characters and more plot devices.
Yeah.
And that's really my only complaint about the movie in general. I love watching this. It's so much fun. But every time, and I've watched this a few times now, and every time I'm like, oh, we spent all this time, this really cool backstory for Wolf, like, and all of that stuff that's going on. And I love him, you know, his whole look, how he would pick up, like he'd take somebody out and take their boots and then get the hat and the glasses and all that. And it was just really cool. And then he's dead. And now he's in the background as a dead body for the rest of the movie. Same with Zazie Beetz. However, neither of them are the biggest, I don't want to say waste of talent, but the concession cart girl that you mentioned in that fight, that was Karen Fukuhara. She has been in The Boys since season 1. She was in the David Ayer Suicide Squad as Katana. She's incredible, and she's in the movie for a minute and does nothing. Yeah. But it's really funny to see. But there's some great cameos in there. Hers, Masioka as the train conductor. Yeah. I saw him.
I love him.
I've watched this movie, I think, 3 times now, and I forget he's in it every single time.
Dude has not aged in 20 years.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not a wrinkle on that face, man. I don't. What is he using?
I don't know.
What moisturizer is that man using? Because I need some bad.
Yeah.
Because I think me and him are about the same age, and he looks like he's 18 years old. I just don't.
He really does. Also, the son, by the way, was played by Logan Lerman, and I have not watched them, but there's those 2 Percy Jackson and the Olympians movies.
Yeah, I've never watched those either.
I haven't watched them, but he was Percy Jackson in them, which is kind of ironic that he gets labeled as Percy the Train by Lemon, which that was a fun, like there again is that kind of fun, quirky sort of thing that they do for the character where he equates everything to Thomas the Tank Engine. That's how he learned about people. And he labels everybody as what Thomas the Tank Engine character they are. That's great. That's brilliant. And that again feels that sort of Guy Ritchie, Tarantino influence where you got just a quirky character. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the quiet car fight is my favorite fight. There's just everything about it from the setup to the final execution is just fantastic. But man, that third act goes places because they clear the train out, which is how long did it take you to realize that train was getting cleared out? Were you noticing that?
Yeah, I know. I started to notice it, and then I was like, okay, we gotta have some kind of like huge crash or something at the end of this movie. And of course, it totally delivered on what my expectations were going to be.
Which had to have just been a visual effects bonanza.
Oh, they had to spend half the budget just on that last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then
Sandra Bullock shows up,
So, I mean, I will say that my first time watching this, it took me entirely too long to recognize her voice and figure out it was her. I did before the end of the movie, but it took me a while. So I was going to ask how long it took you. Was it when she revealed when she got out of the car?
Like, I mean, I recognized like I hear her voice. I'm like, oh yeah, that's you. You recognize her voice when you hear, but I didn't recognize it the whole movie until she showed up, and I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
Sandra
that
Bullock.
Once you know, you're like, oh yeah, I hear it totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me. I think, God, I was 2/3 of the way through the movie, and then she says something again, and I'm like, that might be Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, she shows up at the end, and that cameo, and then the other cameo that gets me every time is Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Just showing up and basically there for like a day. So the fun thing is Bullock, Tatum, and Pitt had done The Lost City, which came out the same year, but it started production.
I really like that movie, and I feel like that movie's kind of in the same vein as this sort of movie, kind of that action. Not as much action, but it's more like a comedy adventure movie.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, they had worked together, and so that was sort of what brought them. That brought Channing and Sandra into this. Was having worked with Brad Pitt and kind of vice versa. Like they had done some stuff with Brad Pitt before, so they went back and forth. And I love that. But those were fun cameos because it's like out of nowhere, Brad, Ladybug just sitting down is like, "Hey, bro," and I've got some audio of that too. I'll play shortly.
There's so much. I feel like for a 2-hour movie, they shoved about 8 hours worth of stuff into this movie.
It is packed tight.
It smokes, man. I mean, there is not. And it's 10 seconds of just dead, it's paced like perfectly. Like there's no point in the movie where you feel like it drags or, it's always like boom, 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 like always elevating to the, I mean, just this movie is nothing but elevation until the end. It's just like, it's a bomb that goes off by the end.
It's a tricky thing to take an action movie and ratchet the tension and the action up all the way through and not have those moments, because it has some moments that slow down, but you never feel a slowdown.
Yeah.
That takes you out of things. Like there's the moments with Brad Pitt and Sonata, the Elder and Ladybug, chatting philosophy at one point. And the action is stopped for a little bit, but we're moving on, and we're getting good character work going on here. And I liked that. So that's tough to do. And again, a 2-hour movie. It's very stuffed full. My only complaint is the Wolf and the Hornet, and they're great. Yeah. And the thing is, they're such good scenes that I don't want to take them out.
Because and that's the thing. I feel like they probably knew that those two characters were really kind of offered nothing to the story.
Yeah.
But they're such good characters. It's like, if I was editing this movie, I couldn't make that decision to cut those two characters. I'd be like, we can't. I mean, because not only are they great characters, and like you said, you don't get enough of them. You get just enough to just sort of be like, oh, these are cool characters. And then they're gone. But they also are there to show that Brad Pitt is like an accidental badass.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like that's their whole purpose.
Because like the fight with Ladybug and Wolf is awesome. Where it's again, his bad luck starts it because he just happens to pick the one door that the wolf is standing in front of, who looks up and recognizes him, and he goes after him. And their whole fight in that car is awesome. And he's constantly like, dude, I don't know you. Why are you attacking me? And he beats him because the knife ricochets off the case and stabs him.
Yeah.
And then he falls, breaks his neck on the briefcase as well. And I love that.
Brad Pitt is so freaking funny.
He is.
During those scenes when he's, like you said, he's fighting. He's just like, dude, I don't know. Like, why are we fighting? And he's just like, he's hilarious.
And I love it because his character knows faces so well, except for Wolf's. For whatever reason, he can't remember him, but he's like, he sees pictures of people and he recognizes them almost right away, but he's got to have that context for it.
Yeah.
I also like him looking at the pictures and having to do like the, middle-aged, pull it away from him because he doesn't have his glasses anymore.
I do that same thing now.
Yep, I do too. The funny thing is, in real life, Brad Pitt has problems recognizing faces.
I remember that. What is that called? Where you can't?
I'm gonna butcher this, but it's prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia.
Face blindness. Where
basically,
you yeah.
So he needs to remember a context of a situation that he met someone in order to recognize them, which is, and so I like bringing that in for the character, but I love his interactions with everybody are so good. And Brad Pitt is funny, so his timing is great. And he, from what I read, brought some of that humor and sort of, I don't want to say clumsiness because it's not that, but that bad luck idea of like, the way the bad luck works for him was a little bit of Brad Pitt bringing that to the character. And I loved it. I absolutely like the whole, dude, I don't know you. The way he fights with both Lemon and Tangerine and kind of separately. And he ends up being the one, like, he shot he shot Tangerine in the neck, but accidentally.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was a great callback to what happened earlier in the movie, where Tangerine is telling Lemon, like, hey, you got your vest? The vest makes you feel weird. Plus, what happens if you get shot in the neck? Well, it stops you if you get shot in the chest. And then what happens? Lemon gets shot in the chest and survives, and Tangerine takes one in the neck.
Yeah. That sucks. I hated that so much.
So this was a cool thing I read, and I want this. I very much want this to be true. So I'm gonna choose to believe it.
Okay.
Because Lemon and Tangerine, as I said, are kind of the emotional backbone of the movie. Their friendship, them being brothers, is great because it's never explicitly said that like they're foster brothers. We're assuming that, but
you
we see
get
them
it,
as
you know?
kids.
Yeah. I mean, you understand exactly. Like, they didn't have to tell us. Like, as soon as you see those flashback scenes, you're like, these two have like a bond.
Yep. Absolutely. So they did not. In the book, Lemon dies, and doesn't come back from that. But they apparently rewrote the character to survive and make it to the end of the movie because they liked his performance and they liked him.
Yeah.
But that rewrite happened later on, and they didn't tell Aaron Taylor Johnson that at the time of that scene. And his performance in that moment where Tangerine finds Lemon, and it is heartbreaking, and it's so good. And that's where that was the moment. You know, you have those moments where you've seen somebody and stuff before, and you're like, I like this actor. They're fun. But you'll see that moment, and you're like, oh, this person is good. Like, for me, it was with like Chris Pine. It was very early. When I saw him in Smokin' Aces, there's a scene in that movie where I was like, this guy's going to have a career. He's good. That was the Aaron Taylor Johnson moment where now, after seeing this movie in that moment, I'm just like, he's in a movie, I'm in. You don't have to tell me anything else because the dude's got some chops and he knows what he's doing. And that was that moment for me.
Do you feel like this movie deserves to have another chance in theaters? Because I feel like not enough people know about this movie. They could literally put it back out in theaters and it would be fine.
They really could. I would love to see this get some traction. I would love for it to become that cult classic because I think it deserves it. I think the middling critics' reaction hurt it. And I understand it from a critic's standpoint. This didn't break any new like ground. It is, I don't want to say derivative of other movies, but it's clearly influenced by a lot of other movies. And we've been in this 10-year cycle of Deadpool and Deadpool 2 and the John Wick movies and all these other things. So this can kind of get lost in that shuffle. Yeah. But it deserves more because
but also I
it's
feel like
so solid.
When it comes to critic reaction to a movie like this, there's something that this movie has that a lot of movies just don't have. There's a lot of heart to this movie, and I think that comes across. And I think it just, like I said, it's got that cult, thing about it. Like there's just something special in the sauce. It's not something you can point out. It's not something you even plan for. It's just there's a special feeling about certain movies, and I feel like this movie has that.
It's like a good pot of chili. All of the parts are there, and they're all very good. Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Michael Shannon, David Leitch. It's a solid script. All of these individual pieces are very good. But you bring them all together, and there's just a special mixture of everything. The action mixes with the comedy just right. It's that perfect mix there. You get all these great performances. You get some emotion in there. Everything with Tangerine and Lemon is wonderful because they go from just kind of at the beginning of the movie, they're partners, and you're like, I like these two. They've got a great chemistry together, and they're super fun, and we get that great flashback to them arguing over if it was 16 or 17 people that they killed.
Yeah.
Um,
And I need that story. I need them to do a prequel of that story from the first time they met Brad Pitt, and
What-
shot him.
what's awesome about that that whole flashback sequence is, number one, it's got perfect fourth wall breaks, like a great way to put them into that because they're telling the story to the son.
Yeah.
And arguing about it. But also on the page, that was just like one page of nothing. And they added in, David Leitch wanted to add in all of the action parts of it to flesh it out more. And it's perfect. I love how they fleshed it all out. Also, this is where David Leitch makes his director's cameo. He's the Good Samaritan that gets blown up.
Really?
He's dead guy number 17.
And I feel like this movie, it walked a tightrope that it absolutely nailed, because I've seen so many movies that are like this where there's so much going on in this movie. There's a lot going on in this movie. There's lots of characters, there's lots of backstories going on, but this movie is so easy to follow. Everything that's going on, it's edited perfectly, it's paced perfectly. It walked that tightrope of just being, it could have been like this. By the numbers, this movie should have just been a mess, but it wasn't. It came out so good.
I mentioned Smokin' Aces. For me, that's another one of these movies that does this same thing, right? It's got all these different parts and all these threads that coalesce. Snatch is another one that does that. Guy Ritchie's Snatch. This is on that level. This is so much better than something like, say, the sequel to Smokin' Aces, or some of the. There was a stretch, and it happens all the time, right? Anytime somebody breaks the mold, you get Tarantino puts out Pulp Fiction and it goes gangbusters, and you get a lot of Tarantino-esque things that are less than. They try, they want that, but they just don't quite have it. Guy Ritchie does Lock, Stock, and Snatch, and then there was like a long tail of stuff coming after that.
Yeah.
But then you get, Joe Carnahan doing Smokin' Aces and Narc, and those are really good. And this is one of those. This is somebody who knows how to do action, knows how to stage things. This isn't a movie that critics like, right? Because it does have a message to it, which I do like, but it's not heavy-handed with that, and it's more just fun. But we need that. I don't need last episode, I did the Iron Claw. That movie's phenomenal. Those are great performances. It is such a downer of a story.
I
and
felt
it's rough.
Yeah, I watched that movie and I felt like I was weighted down at the bottom of a lake after watching that movie, because I'm a huge 80s wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that wrestling family when I was a kid. Saw some of them live when I was a kid, and to know all that went down behind the scenes. I never knew Terry Von Erich had one foot. I didn't know any of this. And then I watched that movie. It's like, oh my God, like it was so great. Yeah, that's a critic masterpiece of a movie. But something like this is just good. Turn your brain off from the freaking horrors of this world for a little while and just have some snacks and have a good time.
Yeah, I can recommend both movies, right? Iron Claw and this, or another. Iron Claw fits into that category of movies like Leaving Las Vegas or Monster, where they're phenomenal. I loved them. I had a wonderful, the experience of watching them was second to none, but I'm not in a rush to watch any of them again.
Yeah.
This
Utterly
is a movie I would
rewatchable.
watch again.
Yeah.
It's very rewatchable. There's going to be stuff you didn't notice the first time, and it's also one to hang out with some friends, have some nachos and pizza and just chill. Or this would be a perfect candidate for the rent a theater type of movie.
Yes.
Get a bunch of people together, rent a theater, and watch it, and that communal experience, because it's so much fun and it knows it, and it's not trying to be serious.
And another thing Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you think about this movie too much, none of it makes sense, right? Nobody's going to be able to clear out the bullet train and have
This
nobody
is a
on it
manga.
but the half dozen. It is very much a manga. It's very much an anime. It's that, and I absolutely just love it for that.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say, but just to iterate what you were saying, like it's one of those movies that you just kind of just shut your brain off and just go for the ride, and it's utterly rewatchable. You can this is a good movie to watch with friends because you're gonna laugh the whole time, even if you've seen it multiple times. There's gonna be stuff that you missed because this movie is a freight train. Like there's so
really
much
is.
going on in this movie that there's always. I'm sure I missed so much stuff just from laughing at the just ridiculousness of some of the stuff that happens in this movie. And everybody felt like they wanted. This was the point I wanted to make. There are movies where you can tell that everybody there is just having a great time and they want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's what you feel when you watch this movie. Is everybody is into it and they want to be there.
Everybody acting in it and producing it want to be there, and all of the characters, regardless of how outlandish it is or how much suspension of disbelief you need to go through, all of the characters fit the world, and they feel like they should be there, and they have reason to be there. Ladybug is there because he's filling in for Carver, right? And as we know, Carver is a dick. That was the other wonderful cameo, is 2 seconds of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
In here, which was great because it was kind of Ryan Reynolds paying back Brad Pitt for doing that in Deadpool 2. So that was good. But like Ladybug has a reason to be there and doesn't want to be, but is, and makes it through the situation. Prince has a reason to be there. Lemon and Tangerine give us so much. Also, the fleshing out their flashback got us off the train for a couple of minutes, which I think was kind of an important thing, because when you're stuck inside of a tube like that, it can get very claustrophobic, and you almost need something to get you out of it. So you have, between their flashback and the White Death flashbacks, we get off the train for a minute. But everybody has reason to be here, and it all makes sense in the world. And that is so good.
I need a movie with those two. I need Lemon and Tangerine series.
Give me that. I talk a lot about like, hey, I'd love this to be a series or that to be a series, and we're in that world of sort of the super long movie stretched out into 6 to 8 episodes. And some people don't like that, but these two, just adventures of them getting was it the Bolivia job, the Johannesburg job, like everything for them. It's a perfect for a limited series because we know where it's going to end.
Yeah.
We can end it with them getting hired to go on the bullet train. But we can do six episodes. Would just be wonderful.
Inject it into my veins right now.
It's so good.
And just the charisma that those two have, man. Like, it was unbelievable watching some of these scenes, and I'm like, is a lot of this improv, or was it all on the script? Or because a lot of it felt like improv, but it felt like they had just been doing it for years, you know?
I feel like watching other David Leitch movies and his directing style, he feels like one that would sort of be like, okay, we've got this written in the script, but we're going to do a few takes, play around with it for a couple of these, just have some fun, and then we'll see what works. And he gets people that can do that and play off of each other. That's where the chemistry between Tangerine and Lemon is just perfect. They feel like brothers. And so then to get the reveal, not only are they, they keep calling them the twins, but now we see them as kids together watching, I don't remember which football club it is. Whichever football club has I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles as their theme.
Was West Ham.
West Ham, that's right.
Yeah, Claire in the chat room. Claire, hi, Claire Gack.
But like they felt right. And again, the elder and his son, that relationship was great. And to start the movie with that too, I think was very smart, because it gives us an emotional anchor that we can then tug on later. And just all of it all the way through it. I've got some clips. I've got some audio. I captured a good bit because there's a lot of There was a bit, there was quite a bit that I did kind of skip over, but I got a lot. And one of them is I'm a fan of the trope in movies where you've got some sort of setup and you have to give a little bit of exposition. Exposition dumps are tricky to do, but this is a good one because we've got to set up some rules for this train. And so this one was Maria.
Okay, here we go. The bullet train has 16 cars, 10 economy, 6 first class, and remember, only 1 minute stop at every station.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of 10 seconds, we get an exposition dump. It gives us everything we need, and it works in context because she's got to give that to Ladybug. So it doesn't feel forced. I loved it. Also, they did a lot with timing in this. When he goes to his little dead drop to get his stuff, and she's telling him about this, it's like 1 minute from that point to when he gets on the train, and just barely gets on the train. So I love that.
Doesn't have his ticket.
Yeah, drops his ticket, had to pick the lock on his locker because he dropped it when he bumped into Kimura. Loved all of that.
All that bad luck.
And if you hear that voice now, you can clearly hear it's Sandra Bullock, but
yeah,
I definitely, in the theater, had no clue. No clue at that point. I loved the door sound on the train. That's my second favorite sound of a door opening. My favorite one being the Doom door.
Oh, yeah.
Doom has just a very distinctive, it's like Doom, Star Trek.
Yeah.
This one, there was something about that. It almost sounds like a zipper opening.
Yeah.
From like a really long way away. Also, if you noticed, usually in movies when you have a train, a lot of times they'll build those sets and they'll put them on a gimbal and give you a little bit of that rocking motion because it's a train. The bullet train don't do that. It's smooth. So they just didn't have to build the gimbal in, which I thought was cool. And that saves them some money.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So Ladybug, Brad Pitt. We love Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is just, he's one of those actors that he went through a period of time. It's kind of like Matthew McConaughey went through his period where he was doing all rom-coms. And I didn't pay attention to him for a little bit. And then I started seeing him in other things. And I realized, oh no, I get the appeal. I understand it now. And now it's, you can even go back and watch those rom-coms and enjoy them. Brad Pitt's kind of like that.
Well, every actor needs money,
Yeah, sure. But like as a kid, and a young man, I did not care for something like Legends of the Fall. It didn't appeal to me. I could go back and watch that now because Brad Pitt and Aidan Quinn. And I just know I'm going to get something good out of him. Mm-hmm. But he's so funny. Like he has, it's not fair to be that dramatically good, that good looking, and also funny. Like that's just, you're getting everything there.
He got the lottery.
He really did. He really did. But like, I love his exchanges with Maria.
You don't have bad luck.
Really?
I think he said really about 4 or 5 times in the movie, exactly like that. I also love him when he first meets the conductor, and he doesn't have his ticket, but he has the receipt for his ticket. And the conductor's like, 1 stop, and walks away. And he goes to bow. And I just loved,
I thought they bowed here.
like that makes me laugh. Or when he goes to get off of the train and he doesn't make it to the door closes on him.
Yeah.
Shit balls. That wasn't a minute.
That wasn't a minute. So good.
And just the visuals too. Like just listening to it is one thing, but just that with the visual, like he just has, I don't know how can you be that good looking and be that funny at the same time? That's not supposed to work.
No, but he got it. Like the flashback to him when he's trying to explain his bad luck and he talks about his previous job with the senator.
Yeah.
And the bad luck was the bellboy that jumped off the roof and landed on his car. And so we see that, right? We see him land on the car, but then we cut back to it a second later and he's driving the car.
Hang in there, buddy!
And he didn't die.
Hang in there, buddy. So good. That killed me. And then his, like, I mentioned him earlier, but his fortune cookie philosophies throughout it, where you can tell this is somebody who just started going to therapy.
Yeah.
And the apparently early versions, or they wanted to get Barry to have a cameo as well, his therapist. And they wanted Keanu Reeves to play Barry the therapist.
That would have been awesome.
I would have lost it if that had happened. But I just love, like, clearly he's just started this, and so it's all new to him. But I love, like, after the fight with the wolf, and you just get,
Let this be a lesson in the toxicity of anger.
let this be a lesson. Because at this point, he still doesn't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
The guy just jumped him and started fighting him, and he died. So there's, like, that and little things.
When we are so quick to anger, we are slow to understand.
No, well, I'm fast to kick your ass, though. I swear to God.
Like, that is absolutely, I've just started going to therapy, and I'm hearing these things, and now I'm going to parrot them to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other one was when he's on the train platform with the henchmen, and they hit him with the sword, they take the case from him, and then he says,
Hurt people hurt people.
that was another one that got me laughing. Hurt people.
You're making me want to go watch this again.
I know.
No more clips. Just play the movie, Travis. Let's just watch the movie here together with everybody.
I would absolutely.
For what it's worth, Carver is a dick.
And the best part is we get that throughout the movie from him about Carver, and then the reveal, and it's Ryan Reynolds too, which is even better.
Yeah,
because you know that, like, a lot of that Carver stuff was added because they were going to have Ryan Reynolds be that guy.
Yeah.
This was him and Channing Tatum. I just love this exchange. I tightened it up because there's more uncomfortable pauses in here. But this was great.
Hey, bro. Wanna make an easy $200?
Was this like a sex thing?
Nope.
Oh, I was kidding. Yeah, what's up? What do you need, bro?
Nope.
Nope.
So good. Also, at the fight with the Hornet, again, like the wolf, it's a great fight, and it doesn't go, like, it's over with very quickly, but then as she's bleeding out from the snake venom, and she's, like, crawling along trying to grab things, and I just loved
Water? Would you like some water?
that patronizing way he said it. It was so good.
God, I love this movie so much, man. If you're listening to this and you've gone this far into the podcast and you have not seen the movie yet, what are you doing with your life?
It's
Go
on
watch it.
It's on Hulu and Amazon Prime. You got one of those, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth it. Like, even again, Ladybug is trying to grow, right? It's trying this growth. So you get the moments like,
You don't have another one? You gotta be better prepared.
I'm mansplaining again. I'm sorry.
catching himself with that, or when he yells at the woman in the quiet car after the fight is finally done and he knocks out Lemon, and she gives him the shush one more time.
I'll call the conductor. Eat a bag of dicks, lady. I'm sorry. I'm working on it.
Imagine
I
insulting
loved it.
somebody and not trying to be loud.
Yeah, exactly. And then right at the end, we get Maria and Brad. Of course, Ladybug is all like, "You're the best handler, like, ever. Just ever. You're awesome." And Barry was right and all this. And
Do you think maybe there was a little head trauma?
Maybe.
A little bit, yeah.
maybe, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Would you like a banana? Yeah, potassium would be good. And his obsession with the smart toilet earlier when he's hiding out in that bathroom.
That was so fun. Like why? That whole scene is just like, why? This makes no sense, but it's funny.
That, I guess, was a Brad Pitt improv of, like, he thought that would be funny to do.
And it was.
So they went that direction. And it's great because first you get him just, like, all obsessed with it and talking about it. And then when he gets the snake and the snake bites him, and of course he doesn't have bad luck. He actually has very good luck because he already had the antivenom, so the snake's not affecting him now. But then he puts it in the toilet and he writes "snake, don't open" on the toilet lid. So that's the second toilet thing. And then right at the end, as he's walking away with Maria,
Fate needs me to find a smart toilet.
fate needs me to find a smart toilet. Also, I learned a new term in this movie, which is ball pointing. Never heard that before.
I haven't heard that either.
I got a couple lemon and tangerines. These
good.
two. First of all, I would like to hear from any of my people that are in the UK or Ireland or Scotland, Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, all you, if you're listening, what did you think of Joey King and Brian Tyree Henry's accents? Because they worked for me. I was very impressed by them. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I knew could do a good American accent, and I know that he's English, but their accents, like, that is not easy to do. It's not easy to convincingly have an accent that is not your natural one. I find that Aussies and Brits and Irish folk do a better American accent typically, and a lot of that has to do with like growing up with a lot of American movies and TV.
Yeah.
But man, when you get somebody that just does it convincingly, like if I didn't know Joey King and this was the first thing I saw her in, I would have believed that was her natural accent.
Yeah.
So, and Claire does say that she thought their accents were good. So, like this feels very Guy Ritchie type dialogue.
I'll tell you what, do you like your arms?
You know I like my
Well, then someone's got to take the blame, don't they?
You know I like my arms. I just love that. Do you like your arms? Yes. I also like him talking. This feels very ironically funny given the movie that it's coming from.
You watch something nowadays, what is it, huh? Nothingness, twists, violence, drama, no message. What's the point?
It's exactly what this movie is twist, violence, drama, no message. There's a little bit of a message in it, but like, I just loved that in this movie. The irony of that line was perfect, and it was delivered so well.
It just goes to show that this movie is completely self-aware as well, and that's what makes it so good. It knows what it is. It's in on the joke.
Just love this line.
Wakey, wakey.
Eggs and bacon.
Never not love that.
I say that all the time.
I do too. This made me laugh out loud and has every single time I've watched the movie.
You look like every white homeless man I've ever seen.
Okay.
That okay, I had to keep that in there because that's like, it's delivered with the, I understand what you're saying, but that's hurtful.
Yeah.
Which is just wonderful. I loved him labeling everybody as different Thomas the Tank Engine characters.
Yeah, I love that.
So good. And it's great because, again, Tangerine and him, when he's going to leave and he's like, be careful. And he tells him, I know how to read people. Am I ever wrong? And Tangerine knows it. He's never wrong about it. He always reads everybody right. So then when he runs into Prince and Kimura, he reads her right away.
Yeah.
And he knows it. But he's just flabbergasted by how good she is pulling off what she's doing. But
I think I found my diesel.
And so then puts the sticker on her, and that's all Tangerine needs to see later on. When he wakes up. So I love the fact that he takes the water that's got the sleeping powder in it.
Yeah.
That alone is funny, but when he wakes up after getting shot. And here's the thing, right? This is pulling the rug on us in a way that works because he mentioned earlier about not wanting to wear the vest. We assume he doesn't have it when he gets shot by a Prince. So then for him to wake up later is great. But he wakes up next to Kimura, who is alive, and with Ladybug and then some other random guy right by him. And he just...
Mine hell.
I mean, that'd be my first question. So then their plan at the end is we're going to give him the case. We'll get back on the train. We'll start it up. We'll take off. And he's going to go and start the train. Lemon is. So Lemon goes up there, starts looking around, and it's like, what did you expect to happen? Oh, come on, play.
Oh shit, everything's in Japanese. There's no episode in Japanese.
You're in Japan, dude.
Yeah.
It was that cracked me up. That is one of my favorite ideas ever. And I don't remember who I heard this from. It might have been Tarantino, but I heard this somewhere where somebody's like, you build in humor into a scene by like a guy's running and he goes to carjack a car, take a car, right? He breaks out the window, he gets in the car, he sits down, it's a stick and he can't drive manual. Like, that's funny. And that's what this reminded me of is, oh no, it's all in Japanese. I don't know what any of this does. So then when Ladybug comes up to him a little bit later about the train and he's got it moving, but now he can't stop it because he doesn't know how.
I took the velocity of the train and divided it by the mass, and I realized that I don't know how to fucking drive a bullet train.
Perfect.
It's so good. And then he gets off the train, right? He jumps off of there with the henchman or whatever on the bridge. And we get that little stinger right after the credits start of him finding that truck.
Tangerines.
And it's a tangerine truck, of course.
Yeah.
Which, according to trivia, is the same truck that almost hits Ladybug at the beginning of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. So that was kind of nice. And I sort of knew when the truck
weren't they like hundreds of miles away at that point? Like,
Probably.
how would that truck have made it that far before a bullet train?
No idea. But that's what they said. Michael Shannon we love. I only got a couple of Michael Shannon clips because he's not in the movie for that long.
Yeah.
And a lot of what he says is that Michael Shannon kind of whisper. So it was tough to hear, but that dude brings intensity like few can.
Yeah.
But he's also very funny. He is incredibly funny. Like, one of my favorite Michael Shannon performances is Knives Out. He's so good in Knives Out. But here you get him saying,
Mr. Carver.
so he says Mr. Carver, right? Because he's assuming that's who Ladybug is. And then the confusion after the train crashes where Ladybug is explaining that I'm not Carver. And I just loved.
Carver, I want the Carver. I hired the Carver.
Like, he can't figure out what is going on. But then he flips the intensity.
Just let it go, bro.
Do not call me bro!
Whoa, okay. All right. I won't call you bro. Jeez. Yeah, Michael Shannon. If anything, he just needed to be in the movie more. And you could have, I think, if you didn't have Wolf and Hornet, you could have maybe given some more of that time to him. But at the same time, like, they utilize the mysterious, overarching character really well. So,
yeah,
I liked that.
I could have used way more, like way
If you
more of that character. I need more of Lemon and Tangerine. I need more of. That's what this movie does. It just makes you want more of everything that's in it.
Yeah. Okay. I am also a fan of, and this is a thing I would say is more prevalent in the last dozen or so years, is self-aware henchmen.
Yeah.
And there's a moment with the henchmen where they've got the briefcase. They're trying to open it.
If it's so safe, why didn't he just open it? What if it's a bomb and it blows up in our faces?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just great. We need more henchmen like that.
Yeah.
Also, the snake constantly like in the background throughout the train. From the time it comes out of its cage, and we just catch it every once in a while. When it finally jumps up and bites Ladybug, and he runs off with it on his arm. And Prince's reaction.
Was that a snake?
Just out of nowhere. Yeah, that was that. This movie's got a ton of clips. It's real. I just want to go watch it again. I'm with you. I just want to watch it one more time.
It's so good. Thank you, Travis, for introducing me to this movie. I feel like I've found another favorite movie in this movie.
I love that. It is just fun. And we need movies like that. I want movies that are just fun every once in a while. That's what I love about, going back and watching a Jackie Chan movie from the 80s and 90s, where it's just, you can tell they're having fun making it, and I can just sit back and let it wash over me. And this is one of those movies. Now, you do have to be okay with the violence and the gore level, because we do have a little bit of that. But it also is, as you said earlier, incredibly over the top to a cartoonish level.
Yeah.
So that does help round off some of the edges of it. But still, it's, if you're okay with stuff like Deadpool, you'll like this. Yeah. Deadpool 2, you're going to like this movie.
This movie just did so much for like world building of like this world of these assassins and that all sort of know each other, but have worked in the same circles, maybe even not known they were working, the same jobs or whatever. Yeah. But it's kind of like they all kind of circle around one another. It just, I don't know, it got my imagination going, especially, with characters like Lemon and Tangerine. Like I could go off and write an entire fanfic about those two, just their adventures together.
For sure. I would love that. I would love the story of the Johannesburg job and how Ladybug was there and they ran into each other. Like, what was Ladybug doing there? Because he mentions he's a smash and grab guy, but he just happened to be there and he gets shot. So there's all that. Like, there's so many things about this that you just absolutely adore. But I'm so glad you got to watch it. And now let's spread that, right? Let's all go get some more friends and do this. This is a great movie night movie.
Yes,
is what this is.
Very much.
So definitely, check
definitely
those out.
something you want to. I mean, it's great to watch by yourself, but it's definitely something you want to watch with friends. Like it has that laugh out loud, like you need to pause it and talk about what just happened kind of movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's moments where you're just like, oh wow, and I find like I said, I've seen this 3 or 4 times now. Over the last couple of years, because it's that kind of comfort movie, and I still find myself cringing at some of the stunt bits or some of like the fights, the way that they end, because it's just like, oh man, they do such a good job of making the impacts feel, you can feel those,
Yeah, it's not like Fast and Furious where nobody gets injured, no matter how many walls they fly through.
That's
this movie,
an interesting. That's an interesting thing.
In this movie, like it hurts when they get hurt.
There's 2 ways to do an action movie, right? You can do Commando, where your protagonist is invulnerable and just mows everybody down and nobody can stop him. Or you do Die Hard, where your protagonist is just beat to hell by the end of it and can barely move.
Yeah.
And I like both because I think both have their place. We've already mentioned Fast and Furious and that we both enjoy them. But it's a different experience than watching this or watching something where you feel some of that that impact. And
I
by
feel
the
like
end of it,
the Fast and Furious movies, they're basically just superhero movies without capes. They have cars.
They really are.
And nobody gets hurt. They could be in the middle of a nuclear explosion and they're going to walk away. The hero, shot with the mushroom cloud in the background. That's probably how that series is going to end. But with a movie like this, it walks that kind of that Die Hard line where the hero, he's not really a hero. I mean, Brad Pitt's character, like he's a bad guy, but he's the hero of the movie. He gets hurt. Like he fights and he feels the hits, and like by the end of the movie, he's pretty beat up.
Mm-hmm. And I like that the movie just ends. We don't have any kind of a wrap up or anything. It's just the train crashes this village that it just gets destroyed, and they just walk away.
Yeah,
and that's it. And we don't need anything else because
we're
the way
get
the
something
story,
to eat, like what are we going to go do?
Exactly. Oh, I'm so glad that you got to see this. This was
good.
fun, and this was a fun one to talk about. Now, you talk about all sorts of fun stuff on your shows. Let people know about those and where they can find them.
Yeah, the Nerd Cave Retro Show. It's at Nerd Cave Retro, pretty much everywhere. You go download it on every podcatcher of your choice. Every week we talk about retro games. We me and my co-host Derek, we trade off talking, reviewing old games from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. You know, now we're getting into the Xbox 360 stuff because guess what? Xbox 360 is over 20 years old now. How does that make you feel?
My back hurts more.
Yeah. So if you want to hear us talk about retro games, we're almost to 500 episodes at this point. This is our 10th year we just started. So go check it out. nerdcaveretro.com will take you everywhere. And the Open Micers podcast is on an extended hiatus right now because, Jacob got his wife pregnant with their second child, and that's, taking a lot of his time. So it might be a little while before we make a comeback, but there's like almost 300 episodes to go back and listen to. And Mr. TV's Travis here won guest of the year. What was it, last year before?
2024 I was guest of the year.
2024, yeah, guest of the year, and got a rotisserie chicken and a t-shirt.
I did, and that chicken was good.
Yeah, it's openmicers.com. Just go check it out. Openmicers.com and nerdcaveretro.com. Go check out both of those shows. Thank you.
Excellent. Absolutely. They're a ton of fun. I always have fun being on Open Micers and Nerd Cave Retro.
Yeah, we got to get you back on Nerd Cave Retro too. Last time you were on, we talked about what, Killer Clowns?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
That was
definitely
that was a fun one. Yeah, let's do it again soon. I want to do the Warriors. I want to do either a commentary track or I don't care if it's a commentary track or a round table. We got to do the Warriors at some point.
I'm a big fan of theme gangs. So
love to have you there to talk about that. I want to talk about that movie with everybody. I'm an unashamed lover of that movie.
And I'm unashamed in loving talking about movies. And if you like hearing this conversation and me talking with Jay or any of my guests, every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm on here. I'm talking movies. Next week, I've got Kevin the Critic coming on. And this was one of those where I was on one of the social media sites and my little bat signal went off. Somebody said, I haven't seen a movie. And I was like, my ears started burning. And I said, excuse me, hold on, wait, what? And Kevin had a mutual friend who's been on my show a couple times, Darren from Nostalgia Cast. And Kevin has never seen Street Fighter, the movie.
What?
And I said, you need to see that for Raul Julia alone. And there's a lot to talk about around that movie because the fact that movie got made is incredible, but the stories behind it.
Gloriously awful. It's a spectacle you need to experience.
And we talk about like people wanting to be there, and there's that, and there is people not wanting to be there. And so there's a lot to talk about here. So that's next episode is Street Fighter the movie, which is also timely because we've got a new Street Fighter movie coming out soon.
And it looks just as over the top awful as the original one. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, they're nailing the tone with that trailer.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited. So that's going to be next episode, and then I have a couple more fun ones down the pipeline as well. So definitely come back and check those out. And if you go to tvstravis.com, you can find this show. You can find all my shows. You can find my merchandise and my Patreon, patreon.com/WYHS, which keeps things running and lets me do things like my live episodes. I will be at Nerdtacular this year when it makes its triumphant return, and hopefully also at DragonCon.
I wanted to go to the Nerdtacular so bad, but I just bought this house, and it would be so financially irresponsible of me to go to Utah this year.
Understandable, but if you can make it to Nerdtacular, I will be there, and definitely listeners, if you're there, come up, say hi, chat with me about stuff, and I'm going to be doing a live episode of the show there. And it's the patrons that allow me to do things like that and help me to get to DragonCon, and hopefully, as things go, I would like to start doing more live episodes and more convention type stuff as well.
Well, I still want to do, if they don't do Nerdtacular and they do Vegas next year, we still, I know me and you had talked about it before. We still have to work out a roast of Scott Johnson and Brian Ebbett.
Yes, we can make that happen.
That'll be so fun. Oh, and Lizzie wanted to say hi. So say hi.
Oh,
Lizzie.
hi, Lizzie. Oh, kitty. I got Bella snoozing behind me here. But yeah, definitely come back for Street Fighter the movie because that's going to be nuts. I cannot wait.
I have the VHS here somewhere.
Excellent. But until then, just remember to enjoy your movies. Don't be a diesel and be excellent to each other. There's been Wait You Haven't Seen.
Well, what did Thomas the Tank Engine say, Lemon?
That's really mean.
They say, hey, take responsibility, mate.
You don't sound like that.
I love him giving him a Ringo Starr voice, too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So good, man.